The coldest continent on Earth is also one of the most mysterious places on the planet. Remote, extreme, and almost entirely untouched, Antarctica stands in a category of its own. It's as fascinating as it is restricted, and unlike most destinations, you can't simply book a flight and go. Unless you're a trained scientist or perhaps an emperor penguin, stepping foot on this frozen land is incredibly difficult. Even if access were easy, surviving there would be another challenge entirely. Temperatures can drop to an astonishing -130 degrees Fahrenheit, or -90 degrees Celsius, conditions so severe they can cause frostbite in minutes. Winds can exceed 200 miles per hour, turning simple movement into a life-threatening task. But why exactly is Antarctica so heavily restricted, and where did these rules come from? Let's take a deeper look. Before the mid-20th century, Antarctica remained one of the least understood regions on Earth. Early explorers attempted to map its coastline, but the harsh climate made deep exploration nearly impossible. That began to change thanks to American naval explorer Admiral Richard Byrd Jr., whose daring expeditions revealed just how vast and significant the continent truly is. And just to clear up a common confusion, Antarctica is located at the South Pole, while the Arctic belongs to the north. Two very different regions, often mixed up, but each with its own unique characteristics. Byrd's missions uncovered enormous ice sheets stretching as far as the eye could see, mountain ranges hidden beneath thick ice, and wildlife perfectly adapted to survive in one of the harshest environments on Earth. But despite these discoveries, Antarctica still holds many secrets. In fact, some theories suggest that Byrd may have encountered something far more unusual than ice and snow. One of the most persistent legends claims the existence of an underground civilization known as Agartha, a hidden world beneath the Earth's surface. While there is no scientific evidence to support this idea, it continues to fuel speculation about what might lie beneath Antarctica's thick ice sheets. Stories like these, whether fact or fiction, add to the continent's already mysterious reputation. And they raise an important question: how much do we really know about Antarctica? A major turning point came in 1957 and 1958 during the International Geophysical Year. Scientists from around the world began working together, conducting large-scale research across Antarctica. What they discovered highlighted just how important and fragile this environment truly is. As a result, several nations came together to create the Antarctic Treaty, a landmark agreement that would shape the future of the continent. So, what exactly does the Antarctic Treaty do? In simple terms, it ensures that Antarctica is used exclusively for peaceful purposes, primarily scientific research. Military activity is strictly prohibited, and the continent is essentially treated as a global scientific preserver. Researchers from different countries can establish stations, conduct experiments, and share findings, but for the general public, access is extremely limited. That said, tourism isn't completely banned. Cruise ships are allowed to travel through Antarctic waters, offering visitors a glimpse of this frozen world. In some cases, passengers can step onto designated landing sites along the Antarctic Peninsula. However, these locations represent only a tiny fraction of the continent's total area. Another important aspect of the treaty is that no single country owns Antarctica. Instead, parts of the continent are associated with 7 different nations, all of which have agreed to cooperate and avoid conflict. This makes Antarctica one of the only places on Earth without traditional political borders. So, why all the restrictions? The most important reason is environmental protection. Despite its icy appearance, Antarctica is home to a surprisingly diverse ecosystem. Beneath the ice lie hidden mountain ranges, subglacial lakes, and unique geological formations that scientists are still trying to understand. The continent is also home to species found nowhere else on Earth, including various types of penguins, seals, and microscopic organisms that thrive in extreme conditions. Even small disruptions could have long-lasting consequences for this delicate environment. There are also incredible natural phenomena that make Antarctica truly one of a kind. For example, there are waterfalls that appear blood red due to iron-rich water oxidizing as it flows. There are volcanoes buried beneath the ice, some of which are still active. And there are massive glaciers that slowly shift and crack, reshaping the landscape over time. All of this makes Antarctica not only fascinating, but also incredibly important to study, and equally important to protect. Of course, environmental concerns aren't the only reason for the restrictions. Antarctica is also extremely dangerous for humans. The freezing temperatures, unpredictable weather, and lack of infrastructure make survival incredibly difficult. A sudden storm can reduce visibility to near zero. Ice crevasses can open beneath your feet without warning. And in such an isolated location, Help is often days or even weeks away. However, not everyone is convinced that safety and environmental protection tell the full story. Some believe there may be hidden activities taking place beneath the ice, things that governments or organizations prefer to keep secret. Satellite images available through platforms like Google Maps have sparked discussions about unusual shapes and formations. Some claim to have spotted structures that resemble giant faces or artificial designs carved into the ice. Other theories go even further. Some suggest that Antarctica once hosted an ancient civilization long before recorded history. Others believe there may be hidden military bases dating back to World War II. And then there are more extreme ideas, like Antarctica being a gateway to unknown parts of the Earth. While these theories are often dismissed by scientists, they continue to capture the imagination of people around the world. After all, Antarctica remains one of the least explored places on the planet, so it's natural for curiosity to fill in the gaps. But what would actually happen if someone tried to explore Antarctica without proper authorization? The consequences can be severe. Violating the rules could result in fines of up to $10,000, along with potential jail time of up to a year for each offense. Most of these rules are designed to protect wildlife and preserve the environment, but enforcing them raises an interesting question: who's actually in charge of Antarctica? Under the Antarctic Treaty, there is no single governing authority. Instead, individuals are subject to the laws of their own country. If someone commits a crime while in Antarctica, they can be prosecuted by their home nation. For tourists, the situation is slightly different. If you're traveling on a ship or aircraft, the country operating that vessel usually takes responsibility. In some cases, the captain or pilot may even have temporary authority to enforce rules during the journey. Antarctica is not only restricted on land, it's also one of the largest controlled airspaces in the world. Regulations introduced in the 1980s require that aircraft must remain within 60 minutes of a suitable landing site in case of emergency. Because Antarctica has very limited infrastructure, this rule effectively prevents most commercial flights from flying over the continent. However, specialized aircraft are still used to transport scientists and supplies to research stations. During the summer months, Antarctica becomes relatively more active, with around 3,000 researchers and staff living on the continent. In winter, that number drops to just a few hundred, as conditions become even more extreme. Despite the isolation, some research stations offer basic comforts. At McMurdo Station, for example, there are coffee shops, a general store, a post office, and even ATMs. These small facilities help make life a bit more manageable in an otherwise harsh environment. But even with these facilities, Antarctica remains one of the most unforgiving places on Earth. Over the years, many explorers have lost their lives while attempting to navigate its icy terrain. Some bodies have been found preserved beneath the ice, while others have never been recovered. It's estimated that hundreds of people have died in the pursuit of exploring this frozen frontier, a reminder of just how dangerous it truly is. So, why is Antarctica so restricted? The answer lies in a combination of environmental protection, human safety, and international cooperation. But with so much of the continent still unexplored, it's hard not to wonder, are we really seeing the full picture? What do you think? Is Antarctica simply a protected scientific zone, or could there be more hidden beneath the ice than we know?